And we're live. Hello, everybody. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday.
It's St.
Happy.
Patrick's Day?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, Corey,
Yes.
Keela always does these foreign accents when she speaks. Let's see if she can do an Irish one
I
for
don't think I can
Ooh.
do Irish.
let's do Irish for today.
I would have to listen. Oh, you are you gonna try and steal me gold?
Oh, that was good.
Maybe. I don't know. I try. I
That
try.
was good. The me coat thing took me. That was good. Okay. Today,
I love
Keela, tell the people the tremendous guest we have today.
So listen, everybody, she is no visitor here. She's been here before. Mrs. Cori Sartori. I don't know if you guys remember her. She had the real sharp, short haircut. Now she got the real long hairstyle, which I love her hair, by the way.
Thank
Like
you.
it is so
You're
beautiful.
so nice. Thank you.
And so we are glad to have you back. She's the coach of mindset and a mindset and manifestation coach. So today we are going to talk about how to take you to the next level. She have been doing this for quite a while,
Yes.
helping women entrepreneurs. She's an author, she's a coach, she's a mom, she's a wife. She's all these wonderful things and wear all these many hats, and then we'll tap into it. We'll also remind you of, a few things from the last podcast to jog you guys' memory, and then we'll go from there.
But
Awesome.
before we get started, I have a question. But
What is
before
your
I ask
question?
the question, we are going to scratch one of the most famous one-hit wonder groups there is,
Okay.
the Hughes Corporation.
Oh, okay. I've never heard of them. So
I'm I'm
what
sure
did
you
they
have not.
sing?
I'm sure you have not.
What did they
But
sing?
the Hughes Corporation made one of the biggest one-hit wonders in the world. And the song is about, hey, listen, I'm having a great time. Why are you messing with my flow? But the
Hmm.
way they say it is, uh, my love is like a trip on the ocean filled with something, something, something in love and devotion.
Okay.
So I'd like to know where you got the notion to rock my boat.
Oh,
And I like to know where you got the notion. You remember
Notion.
that? Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
it
the
was a
Hughes.
commercial.
That was the Hughes Corporation. It
Okay, they
was
used their music for a commercial.
Oh, okay. Well, it was also in Avengers. But anyway, it was a one-hit
Okay.
wonder. It had a lot of meaning to the let me put it on the turntable. It had a lot of meaning,
Oh.
and it ties into what we're talking about today because while you're trying to fix your mindset and have a manifestation, there are people who will come and rock your boat.
Yep.
And you
Oh,
have,
yeah.
Ooh.
and I'm sure Corey's going to tell us strategies on how to get around
Yeah.
that. So, with that said, I got a question, and my question is,
Watch this. Watch it.
where are we going today?
We're going
We're going
all
the way there.
there. We're going all the way there, guys.
Yeah.
Where are we going today? All the way there.
Hello there. Hello, everybody. How are you?
Oh, hello.
We're back to the English accent.
I know. I was like, that's a little British.
Yeah. So, okay, just a little parenthetical thing, real quick. I'd like to thank all of our all the way there family for wishing me a happy 31st birthday. I appreciate it, and I am celebrating this 31st birthday for the 26th time. So, thank you guys so much. I just want to say love, peace, apple grease. Okay, so
I love it. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, ma'am.
Happy birthday.
So,
So did you have a fantastic birthday?
I had okay. So look, this is the first time I've ever had a birthday go over 2 days. It was the actual birthday, and then it was the day after. Never had that happen before. So I was on cloud 9. I mean, everything was just A1. I have this I have this girlfriend, right? And I
Okay.
think she loves me because she has this knack of setting things up where it's just surprise after surprise after surprise. So it was just wonderful. On my birthday, I got to relax, just kind of doing a lot of stuff I like to do. And then the next day, we had dinner or brunch with the kids, and then we went to this fantastic 3-hour show, and
It was nice.
it was the best. So, and then didn't get home till 1 in the morning, and then didn't go to church. But anyway,
If nothing reminded you that you were in your 50s, that reminded you.
yes, yes,
I was
yes.
like, oh, it's time for us to go home.
Yeah, that's wild.
But
Yeah.
and by the way, what did your cup say?
Oh, my cup says, my girlfriend is hotter than my coffee.
I've seen her before. I believe it.
Yeah.
So Miss Cori, Coach Cori Sartori, Mrs. She's married, people. So don't inquire. We wanted to say that we are honored to have you back. Thank you for,
having me.
coming back on the podcast.
My pleasure.
So just to give everybody a refresher, Cori was here before.
Yeah.
And she was here as a guest, actually talking about healing. And so you can tell us before we go into the icebreaker.
Okay.
You can tell us about you, tell us about your coaching business, and then tell us just a small recap of why you were here before to remind the listeners.
Okay, cool. So a little bit about me, my personal life. I live in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm from here. I've tried to escape, but it's nice to be home and be close to family. I have been married to my husband for 6.5 years.
Nice.
And I've actually known him for 25 years.
Okay.
But it took me a real long time before I was like, he's the one.
Okay. Love it. I love it.
We have 2 boys. My older son just turned 6 last Sunday. We went to Legoland last week to celebrate. And then my other son he's 7 months old. So he's my little baby boy. And I have been coaching for 8 years. I love working with women on mindset and manifestation. I love to be of service of others. And that's why I coach, because I know that you just don't know what you don't know. And so I've been doing that for 8 years. I'm a breast cancer survivor. We talked about that a lot. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. I truly love my life. I'm truly blessed. I love being a mom. It's like my greatest blessing. Oh my gosh. I'm like, this is just the best thing. I really love transforming other people's lives. I'm also a yoga teacher. I've been teaching yoga. You can believe I did my first yoga teacher training a decade ago. It was in 2014. I'm like, oh my gosh. So
wow.
Lots of teacher training for yoga under my belt. I have over 500 hours. And then last summer, I became a best-selling author on Amazon with my book, Thrive and Flourish.
Period.
So,
guys, that's
a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a whole lot.
So you became a new mom, a new bestseller author.
Yeah, last year was big.
All of this stuff. And that is what we're going to talk about today, all this great manifestation and mindset of everything.
Yeah.
So, Aaron, you have a question for us?
Well, I got an icebreaker for us, and it also ties into the topic, and we're going to jump right in. So, when was the last time that you set your mind to something and it manifested?
Okay.
So, me go?
Yep. Yes, go first.
It's my little boy, my 7-month-old baby. He is what I manifested. So do you want me to tell you the short version or the long version?
Tell us the version. Tell us the in-between version.
Okay, I'll do my best.
Okay.
So my older son is 6, and it'll be actually tomorrow is my cancer date. That's when I was diagnosed.
Congratulations.
So I was diagnosed March 18th of 2021. My older son was 3. Before that, we were doing fertility treatments, and I got cancer instead. We did IVF before I started chemo to see if we could save some embryos, so then I could try again after, and all of my embryos died. None of them made it. Yeah, that was like harder than hearing that I had breast cancer. Was that I was like, no, I want another baby.
Right.
So after cancer, after getting off all of the meds, I asked my fertility doctor, this was May of 2022. I said, hey, I want to have another baby. What are my chances? And he came back after doing blood tests and blood work and things like that. He said, you have less than 5% chance of conceiving on your own. If you want another baby, you need to do embryo adoption. But that again comes along with a lot of more hormones, which my cancer was hormone positive. So I'm not really wanting to do that. So I said, no, I want another like little person that I create with my husband, I think embryo adoption and adoption is wonderful, but like I have my older son and I just like love him so freaking much.
Right.
I was like, I just knew you just know things, right? I knew it was meant to be. The doctor's like, you have less than 5% chance. And I was like, nope. In that moment, I decided, no, I'm going to get pregnant. I'm going to have this baby. And so for 6 months, I would lay in my bed and I would visualize my body being healed with a white light. And I would tell myself I'm pregnant. I would visualize myself being pregnant, like feel how it would feel to be pregnant. And then I think it was even like in October of 2022, my husband was like, I don't think this is going to happen. We've been trying for a long time. Like we don't have good chances. I just know you have your hopes up and I just don't think it's going to happen. I was like, it's going to happen. And then 3 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant. So I was like,
wow.
Look at God.
Wow.
Because and that was such like, that was my focus. I was like, I am going to get pregnant. I'm going to have this baby. And I focused on it. And for 6 months, that was like what I focus on every night. And I made it happen.
Wow.
I love that story because it so ties in with faith.
Yeah.
And just knowing that if this is what God told me I can have it. And sometime I know sometime when you're going through stuff, because you actually went through breast cancer, which can make people a little, oh Lord, but you stay the course. And if for anybody who don't know, I've been following her for a very long time, and I really don't even know how I connected. She might have popped up as a suggestion, but I started following her page, and one day she posted that she was ringing a bell that she was a breast cancer survivor. And so I'm like, what? I've been following this lady a long time, so I'm going back through her post. Like, did I miss something? This lady was so positive. I'm sorry. Cori was so positive. Like she's not here. She was so positive on her page, and she kept the course as far as like her coaching and what she did and everything. And there never was a post like, dear God, why did this happen to me? Never. So none of that ever came through, but she would always post these great positive messages about making it through. And so when I saw her ringing a bell, it really just made me kind of emotional, because it made me think, like, I don't know what you went through in your private life, but in your public life, you stayed the course and you were getting your job done, which to me lets you know that your job still has to be done even when you're going through.
Wow.
There's still a job to do.
It is.
That spoke volumes to me.
Yeah.
And so that is why I was like, okay, she has to come on the show.
You're so good to me.
So this is her second time. She's here. So Aaron, did you want to go next? Okay, wait. What does L'Oreal say?
L'Oreal says, my husband and I are believing for twins to complete our blended family. I needed to hear this. Thank you. Amen.
Amen.
Wow. Yeah.
We're believing with you, L'Oreal.
Yes. Wow. That's cool. Did you want to go first? Because I always let ladies go first.  'First.
Okay. So mine may sound a little cliche-ish, But at the same time, I kind of hope that it helps somebody. Especially a lot of single women who've been out here. I was kind of finally just decided after a really, really bad breakup, that my mom kept saying, it's probably this, it's probably that. And I was like, Mom, you don't know or whatever, And I finally found out that it was this and it was a little of that. And so I was devastated. And I finally just decided that, you know what? I'm just going to be done. And so one day I was sitting in my kitchen having a pity party. And and stuff is real. So I don't want people to think I'm human just like everybody else. Scrolling down Facebook and I'm like, even she got somebody. And my daughter was like, Mom, it doesn't matter who she is. If you manifest that, God will. Now, this is coming from like a 18-year-old child, 17-year-old. I think she might have been 17 at the time. It doesn't matter. If that's what you want, you got to believe that this is what you're going to have. You want a great relationship. This is what you got to believe. I really felt like God was speaking through her at that moment because she was like a child talking to an adult. You know what I'm saying? Not that they don't know. And then it kind of snapped me back into reality. And so what I did was I started writing down the things I wanted in a person. And I'm like, this is the list. This is what I must have. He has to be these things. I'm not settling for anything less. And if I would talk to somebody or go on a date and nope. Thank you. Next. Not that mean, but just move on.
Yeah.
But I say that to say that you keep my focus steady. And I started just really believing and focusing on the positive things. I started deleting certain people who only talk negative about relationships. I started deleting a lot of groups that I was in that they were having relationship wars. And I just started focusing on, I need to be with like-minded people. So if this is what I'm believing for, I started joining marriage groups. I started joining all of these other things. And then I finally met somebody and it happened.
Right.
And I wasn't looking for it. And I know that's cliche-ish too, but I literally was not looking for it. It just happened. So that's my manifestation. And hopefully somebody out there who is saying, God, it doesn't work out for me, or I'm tired of dating, kissing all of these frogs. You have to believe that the right one will come, and you have to believe that you are worth it. And get your mindset right, because it does take a level of you having your mind right as well.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So mine is, I'll make mine short. So like in 1999, I was a Chippendale, right? And so I
is that a dancer?
Yeah, I was a Chippendale. So I was dancing, and so I had these moves that I didn't think would go over. So all these guys were in the background, they're all auditioning to take my spot, and and so I did this little shimmy, and the crowd went wow. I was like, yes. And so everybody was so jealous of me. And then I became lead Chippendale, right?
Okay.
And so they renamed the shimmy the Glad Man shimmy because I still can do it.
You were the head chipper.
Yeah, the head. So you've heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so after I had to retire the G string, I just said, skip it. I don't want to do this no more. God is calling me out of this. So I manifested that thing. I thought about it and said, do the shimmy, and I'm just gonna make it. And so I did. I did so long that I had to hang up the G string. So
wow. And so look at you now, a podcaster.
Yeah.
Look at God.
But anyway, so Cori, tell us about manifestation and mindset and manifestation, and why is that so important in a life of someone who has goals?
Yes.
Because I think your mindset either launches you forward or holds you back.
Yeah.
Right. Like I lived in a negative mindset for a long time, and it kept me stuck, and it kept me from going after my goals and my dreams. Yep. Right. I was in a fixed mindset, pity party me. My ego was running the show. And when I decided that I didn't want to live a life that was sucky anymore, I had so much work to do. Because in my mind back then, I thought I was so confident, but it was my ego running the show. Like I was a jerk. And I didn't have that awareness, right? Like I think a lot of self-development, a lot of mindset stuff is like, you have to learn about yourself. a
That's
lot.
true.
And
Mhm.
it's hard. And I think that's why maybe a lot of people don't want to necessarily do self-development, because you have to learn the truth about who you are
Right.
and how you believe the way you believe. And, you know, you have to uncover limiting beliefs. But I think, you know, when I did start my transformation, one of those first things that really supported me in building my confidence, doing hard things, getting uncomfortable was a vision and goal practice. And so
Mm.
I think that a big thing, if you want to have a big life, if you want to have, you know, big goals and actually achieve them, then you have to get your mindset right. And I think mindset and manifestation really connect in that way, or at least they've connected for me in that way in a lot of
Mhm.
situations in my life where, you know, when my mindset is right, when I have that self-belief, that confidence, that faith in myself, and then my higher power, like I am able to accomplish anything. But when my mindset shifts into scarcity or lack, I start
Yes.
manifesting and I start attracting like crap that I don't want. And so
So
I think that you have to, they go together.
I think so too. And two things come to mind. The first one you said about having self-awareness. And I remember having a previous guest on that who's a therapist. And he said the most dangerous person to date or marry is a person that has no self-awareness
Yeah.
because they will never grow
Yeah.
because they're always going to think that people are out to get them. And that stuck out to me because it's a very difficult thing. If you can't be or once somebody point them out, because sometimes we aren't aware, you know.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
if people point it out and you're just rejected,
Yeah.
then that's where it becomes a problem because it's kind of like, and I'm not talking about a malicious person that's just saying mean things
Sure.
to you. I'm talking about people that genuinely care and say, hey, look, you know, you kind of do this a lot.
Yeah.
Or you kind of, and then you have to want to be open to receive that in order to change.
Yeah.
And then another thing you said, well, I talk so much, I kind of forgot it. So it'll come back to me. It'll come back to me.
No, let me ask. Let me go ahead. Did you remember it? Because gee
It'll come
whiz.
back. It'll come back.
Yeah, that's that. You're turning 50. Okay, so look, Doris, Miss Graham says, when we were young, we were always told that you will always have a house note. And we got into the word and totally changed what we were told as
Yep.
young people. We paid off
Yep.
our house in 2022.
That is true.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Awesome.
When you
so,
darn different, you do different. Go ahead, Ann. I'm sorry.
so Corey, is it enough to just have a mental assent, or do you have to match that with speech? So
Oh,
in other words, when you were trying to get pregnant, was it just enough to say, just gonna think this, or you have to match it with actions and have to match it with speech?
well, yeah. And I have, you know, you have to match it with both, right? Like it's the way you speak is a vibration, right? You know, it's that energy that's connected to manifestation. If you're saying negative things, you're attracting negative things. Right. So you have to be really, and and that's again why I'm talking about self-awareness, is because you don't know what you don't know. So a lot of the things that you say, a lot of the things that you think, you may not be aware of because it's just a habit that you've been doing for so long, you don't have that awareness. And so once you start choosing to shift your mindset, you'll start to learn those thoughts that are stopping you. And you know, when you were talking earlier, Akila, about relationship stuff like that, I was like, yeah, that's how I manifested my husband. But it was because of that mindset shift. Like I had the vision that I was going to get married and have kids, but in the back of my mind, I kept saying, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. And once I heard that and stopped it, my husband was in my life within 6 months.
Yep, that is very true. And I think a lot of women and men wrestle with that because men are saying, you know, they may say, men may not say, I want to get married as much, but they still might desire it.
Sure.
But then they'll say, we'll never meet the right woman. All these women out here are this, or all of these women they only want your money. But when you say those things, then that's what you attract.
Exactly. Because that's what you're telling the universe that you want. But even, you know, when I wanted to get pregnant with Nixon, I would say, I am pregnant with a happy, healthy, perfect baby. I am pregnant with a happy, healthy, perfect baby. And I would say it over and over. And even when I was pregnant, I said it over and over and over. I'm so grateful I'm pregnant with a happy, healthy, perfect little boy.
Mm-hmm.
And this boy is freaking awesome. He is like the happiest little boy.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I manifested that.
Right.
My husband, I'm like, this baby is so good because I manifested it while I was pregnant with him.
That's right.
Right. That was my mindset. And, you know, when I was going through cancer, when I would go through chemo, I would say, I am happy, healthy, healed, and whole. Right. So that positive language around what was going on, I truly believed helped me heal.
Mm-hmm.
I believe so too.
We just did a show. I'm sorry.
No. Go with yours.
We just did a show just last week and the week before about being happy and how that heals.
Yeah.
So being happy coming through your speech has a lot to do with forming your outlook and healing your body. Because, you know, I read some research that your body jumps when you laugh and it pumps healing throughout your body.
Oh, I love
so
that.
This correlates exactly with what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know, but go ahead, Keela, because I got another question.
No, I was just going to say, which also makes you think about, you know, the people that you're around. And I know we say this on every podcast, which is crazy because that relates to every single subject in life about the people that you keep around you. And if they are speaking these negative things, sometimes you buy into them by default. Now, because it's your surroundings. And so that's why it's so important to have people who can give you the positive things, even when you're down. Just like the other day when I'm in a store and I'm freaking out because I can't find a dress for my birthday. Aaron's like, just stop, breathe, just breathe. You're making this bigger than what it is. Calm down. You're gonna find. But the point I'm making is those things are important because when you have people who are feeding you the negative things, you buy into it without even realizing that you're buying into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I surrounded myself with people that were negative and judgmental and complained about everything for so many years. And I was that person because that's who I was around.
Exactly.
And once I realized oh my gosh, the only person stopping me from living a life I truly love is me. I let go of those people. I was like, I don't need you in my life. You're not adding value. You're holding me back. And, you know, that's fine that, you know, you served me in that time of my life, but it doesn't serve me anymore.
So let me ask this,
I like
strategy against negative people. How do you, because some people are not delivered from that. You know? So what strategies would you give to avoid the negativity getting inside? And what strategy would you have for procrastinators, busy people who have goals, but they put them on the back burner a lot?
Okay. Let me go back to the first one. What was the first question?
Negative people, how not to let it get in.
Well, I think, right, you choose who you surround yourself with. And sometimes we have family members that maybe aren't awesome or you know, they just are negative and they always are criticizing you or telling you your goals are silly or whatever. And I think it's really important to get clarity on those people in your life. I always like to ask my clients when we first start working together, you know, make a list of 10 people you spend the most time with and then do a pros and cons list, who is adding value and who's not, and write that out. It'll help you be aware of oh, well, actually, every time I bring up this goal I have, they actually shoot me down, and that's not
right.
Right. Doing that to help you build awareness. Something that is really helped me is being aware of the people that are super sarcastic. Cause I love a good laugh.
Yeah.
Right. I love a good joke, but when you're constantly being sarcastic because that's how you're being mean to people, building the awareness around those people, you just see it. I think once you've made the choice to start doing that awareness and then just building out those boundaries around it. What will I tolerate? What will I not tolerate? You know, I always ask my clients to have hard conversations. Hard conversations suck, but at the end of that hard conversation, there's growth.
Yes.
And so, you know, it's so important to do because some people don't want to change. They think they're great and they're perfect. But I think having those conversations hey, I want to have a great relationship with you, but this, these are the things that I need from you moving forward. What do you need from me? And then like, great, if you can come to a resolution, great. But it may not always happen, but having those hard conversations will help you decide like, who are those people that really want to be in your life? And if somebody doesn't, then, set up boundaries around them. What are those interactions?
Yeah.
I love that, because that is so true. And the older you get, the more you start to realize it. And that's why I like that we can tell our kids that early, because this is what this is. When you have those hard conversations, a person that decides they want to just ghost,
Yeah.
they're not
meant for you.
Yeah, they're not meant for you. But a person that's going to stay there after you had the hard conversation and say, hey, let's try to work through this.
Yeah.
Those are your people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I really like that.
So what about busy people, procrastinators?
Yeah. Well, I think also being aware of your language around that, because we use like, I'm busy as a reason to like not do anything. Something I've really been aware of lately with some women that I've been working with, like they are procrastinating because it's perfectionism, right? They're like, I have to get everything perfect before I do this. So it's perfectionism is their procrastination. But I think if you want to, because I'm somebody, I love procrastination. Like I was a kid at school that was doing their assignment the night before at midnight. My mom was so mad at me because I just was like, oh, I'll get to it.
Yeah.
Right.
But what has helped me to get into action is creating those vision and goals of what do I want in my life. And so I'll write out a vision for the year. Like, where do I want to be on January 1st, 2025?
Yeah.
I'll write that out. What do I have? What have I achieved? What have I become? What are my career goals? What are my personal goals? What are my health goals? Like I write it all out. So then I know like, okay, in 12 months, I need to achieve this goal. In 6 months, I need to achieve this goal. In 3 months, I need to achieve this goal. Well, if I want to get to that 3-month goal, what I need to be doing today is what? And I make a to-do list. Like, what are all those to-dos I need to be doing? Once I have my to-do list to help me get to my goals, then those to-dos can go into my calendar and I can like plan my life.
Okay.
But that's the thing is, right? It's so easy to procrastinate if you don't write it down and if you don't have it planned out. It's easy to be like, oh, well, I didn't have time today because I was looking at Instagram for 20 minutes. And
right.
Like we know what we need to do, but we don't. And something that I even do, Erin, is doing time blocking on those things that I don't want to do. Like, it's like, okay, this is what I have to do for my business. I don't want to do it. Maybe it's a technology thing. That's not my jam. But I'll set a timer for 45 minutes and I'll just do that for 45 minutes. And then the 45 minutes is over. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, I can maybe do this for 5 more minutes, or maybe it's almost done. Right. And I think that also helps. So really for procrastinators, you have to get clear on where you want to go. What are those goals to help you get there? And then you have to plan your life. You have to plan daily, weekly, like that will help you be so productive. You'll be like, oh my gosh, it'll be 3:00 and you'll have done, right. Mondays and Tuesdays work. So it's so valuable. It's so helpful if that's what you can implement.
That is so helpful because I think that needs to be said. I have a third group of people. I have 2 more groups of people, but you may have the same advice for these people. But we talked about negativity getting inside. What about people who are already negative? The Slep Rocks of the world.
Yeah.
Okay, Keyless Young. Slep Rock was a character on the Flintstones. Okay, so anyway, the defeatist people.
Yeah.
Who it's never gonna work.
Yeah.
They're doomed. How do they get out of that? Is it the same as the negativity getting in?
I think if somebody is in that, like they really have to be committed to change, right?
Yeah.
And a simple way for them to start is just with the gratitude practice. If they can wake up every single morning and start saying 3 things they're grateful for, maybe out loud, maybe they text it to a friend, maybe they call somebody and they start with just that gratitude, right? It's something small, but if they can continue focusing on those things they can be grateful for, then it's hard to live in that negativity and that complaint life. Right. So, I ask my clients, have 3 things in the morning that you're grateful for. At night, I want you to journal about something that happened in the last 24 hours that you can be grateful for. Because that journal in the morning, right, with those 3 things, it can be like I'm grateful for my husband, I'm grateful for my kids, I'm grateful for my job, right? Like it can get repetitive, but when you're taking that time at night to think about, okay, well, what happened in the last 24 hours that was really powerful for me or that I can be really grateful for? Once you start that habit, like it starts changing your mindset. It starts changing energy in your body, I think, because you're more focused on gratitude than this complaint life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's very hard too for a person that is a positive person to be around people like that, because for a couple of reasons. They're irritated with you because they think you're being fake, because every time I look up, you bouncing around. I mean, life ain't that good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then you as a positive person get tired of hearing that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay, we're like these magnets that just won't lock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing, is to try to start out and maybe eventually shifting out the negative people around you that are talking like that as well, because it's just like, drinking alcohol. You can't go back into the bar, once you try to stop.
Yeah.
So
the Queen, Miss Graham, says, Cori, do you have to first identify that these things are a problem in your life?
I don't really think that you have to pinpoint exactly what it is. Like, a lot of women, when they come to me, when they want to start working with me, it's because they feel stuck. Like, that's a lot of the verbiage they use. Like, I'm feeling stuck. I don't know what to do. I know that I want to achieve this. I don't know how to get there, right? They just really need a strategy. They need a plan, and they need somebody that's going to hold them accountable and give them those tools and resources to move them along. So I don't think that you'll know right away. There's a lot of things I still don't know about myself. There's things that I do know about myself that I'm really trying to work on. And there's things that I've learned and I've healed and I've let go of, but it's always a constant work. I'm never really done. And so I think once you just start making the choice to, maybe start a gratitude practice, maybe start a vision and goal practice. And once you start getting a little bit of taste of self-development, it's like, it's addicting. And you're like, well, I want more because now I feel this much better. And then if I do this, I'm going to feel this much. It is. And then that happens, which is so powerful, is it just keeps getting better and better and better.
I like that.
What we're talking. Oh, let me read Crystal's comment. Crystal says, I'm grateful to wake up each morning, not to take any type of medications at my age, at the age that I am, only vitamins. Also, I still have my mind, I think.
One thing I do know is she can drive in a car, in a race car, because even at her age, which Crystal might, I don't know if she minds saying her age, but she's a very matured woman. And when I was trying to trail her one day driving up the street, and I'm like, I cannot keep up with her. If I can't keep up,
that's right, because we're talking about Mario Andretti right here. So Cori, what we've been talking about, kind of, it mirrors scripture. It mirrors the Bible, because in Genesis it says, God says, let us make man in our image and in our likeness. And so when he starts to make man, he give them the same kind of power that he has to speak stuff, and it happens. Like, let there be light, boom. Yeah. So when I think man has diminished that power to harness that attraction, because we're born with it, because God said we're in his likeness. Not only do we look like him with 5 fingers and 5 toes and eyes, but he says in our likeness. So we have ways like him. Yeah. And we've forgotten that. Yeah. So a lot of this stuff parallels there. But here's my question. Do you find that, because I know that you counsel more women, and it's your counseling is more towards women. Do you find that men have to have a different approach, or is across the board the same usually?
I don't think men have to have a different approach. I think what I offer is the same, because it's my husband does coaching with me. So he uses a lot of the tools, right? Like, I always tell people my husband was my first life coaching client, because when he came back into my life in 2016, I hadn't seen him for 3 years. And I'd done a lot of self-development, a lot of growth. Like, that was what I was doing. I was teaching yoga. I was a different person. And when he came back into my life, he said, you're a different person. I want what you have. Wow. And I was like, cool. So I was like, this is the book I've read. And like, let's do vision and goals. Like, I started teaching him the things that I'd done to change my life. and it helped him change his life.
I love it.
You know, and even at that time, I look back, my husband's been sober now for over 11 years. At that time, he was sober for 3 years, but he still wasn't like, he was like white knuckling sobriety.
Yeah.
And when he started doing gratitude, when he started doing his vision and goal practice, when he started like, you know, surrounding himself with positive people, he became so much more joyful and happy in his sobriety, which was awesome. So I think a lot of it, you know, transfers. I haven't really seen that there has to be a different approach for men in anything. So
yeah,
I love it. I love it.
I can imagine that, because the whole Chippendale story comes back to me, and I did the same thing that you said, and I was head chip. But go ahead, Keela. What are you saying?
You know, I'm glad I didn't know him in those days. But I guess Aaron kind of took that question with helping more women. If people are trying to help their business grow, because we know that you also work with people with their business and taking them to the next level. And like you said, getting them unstuck, if that's the word. What are maybe name a step or two if they, say a person has started the business and they are like, do you think people should have business coaches? And I know my answer for that, because I know a lot of people try to do these things on their own and then they hit the ceiling. Should people have mentors, business coaches such as yourself?
I say yes, 100%, because of my great experience with working with coaches. And also, like, how many clients have I worked with where they've changed their life from working with me? Because we don't know what we don't know, right? There's so much knowledge in the universe. There's so many things in the universe that we don't know. You know, maybe it's social media, maybe it's, you know, mindset stuff, whatever it is, you just don't know what you don't know. And when you have somebody that's already done it, it changes your life. When I hired my first business coach, like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is such a huge investment. And I did it anyways, because I was like, well, you know, I'm going to do it and see how it goes. And it completely transformed my business because it taught me all of those social media things that I needed to do.
Absolutely.
It taught me a lot of things that, like, you know, how to do a podcast. It taught me all these things that I just didn't know before. And it made me uncomfortable when I had to try to learn it on my own and frustrated. So I just didn't. Right. I was like, oh, this is stupid. You know, like,
no, that's real.
Somebody teaches you,
then you kind of know
and hold you accountable. I think that's a huge piece of it too. When you have
that
somebody
is it
with you saying like, hey, did you do your morning routine? You know, did you do the homework that I sent over? Like, did you get those things done? You're going to do it.
Yeah.
Especially if you're investing and paying for it, right? Like, if you're doing it for free, you're just like, whatever. But when you pay for it, you're committed.
I completely agree with you, because I did one for myself with the podcast. And so at first, when I was thinking about getting a coach or whatever, I'm thinking like, what? She charged what? I'm like, oh no. So I literally told her, I'll call you back. And then I'm not kidding. So I guess I was manifestationing then. Okay. And I said, I don't know about that. I just don't have the money for that right now. I really want to do it and I want to expand my business. But I'm like, God, okay, so God just was telling me some stuff about this dress. Okay. Anyway, if it's gonna happen, Lord, you're gonna make it happen. And 2 weeks later, she called me back and she said, hey, it's really been on my heart. I'm gonna give you this class for half off. If you can do it, you can pay me in payments. I don't normally do that, but you can do that. Wow. And I'm like, what? So I got all of these. I was the only podcaster in the class. So a lot of them had businesses where they sold merchandise and stuff. So mine was a little bit tougher, which stretched me. Because I was like, I don't have merchandise. So some of these things don't relate to me. And she was like, but they do relate to you. So this is how you're going to work this over here and do your homework for this. And you need to create this. You need to come up with a color scheme for your podcast. You need to come up. So things started gelling together. And I was just kind of like, okay, I need a coach, and thank you, God, for helping me. But I'm gonna tell you, when I got my money, and I know y'all always talk about I give too much, I sent that girl some more money. because I wanted to make sure that she
that's
knew I
nice.
wasn't taking advantage or whatever she felt. And she was grateful for it.
Yeah.
And we're friends to this day. But yeah, I do believe that, and if you want to take your business to the next level, you need a
Totally.
mentor, you need somebody to help get you there.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of what stops them is their mindset.
Mhm.
And it's just building the awareness of like, where are those limiting beliefs coming from? Why do you have them? You know, you have to build your confidence. There's a lot of business building is really mindset and manifestation, right? And it's even that clarity, right? Like you have to know what you want out of your business. If you're like, oh, I hope it works out, like that's not going to set you up for success. You have to know, what is my vision for my business? What do I want to achieve? What are my goals?
Right.
And what do I have to do to get there?
Yeah.
Because no one's going to do it for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Cori, you said something off the grid that I would really like for our people to hear. You said there are goals, there are things that you have to do that need to be a must.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Yeah. Yeah. I was telling Aaron that I just was listening to this Tony Robbins. It was a book or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying in it that, you know, there's a lot of should, you know, we should eat better. We should take better care of ourselves. We should move our bodies more. We should be doing our morning routines, whatever. There's a lot of should, but shoulds don't get us anywhere. It's when we make something a must. When it's a must, we actually get into action and we make a change, because there's all of these shoulds. We all know the shoulds. You've been told a lot of shoulds since you were a kid, and we never do anything about it. But when something is a must, right? I must find that dress for my birthday. I must, you know, find the perfect partner. I must grow my business. I must make more money. If it's a must, you're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
But if it's a should, like I should make that sales call, I should connect with that potential customer. That's what it's going to be is a should, and you're going to stay stuck. When you decide that something is a must, it must happen for you. That's when you'll make the changes to get there. That's when you'll get into action.
Right.
That just put me in a mindset, because I remember when I was working out really hard. And so my morning mantra, am I saying it right? Mantra every day was, my workouts are non-negotiable. And it was my fittest time ever in life. Like, I mean, outside of me just being naturally skinny when you're little, but you know what I mean? It was my workouts were non-negotiable. So I went hard for like a year, and then somewhere along the line, life started happening and we got thrown back into the thrust of life. But it makes me think of that, because I would actually say that every single day. My workouts are non-negotiable.
I love that.
So in other words, you have to must the shit out of it.
Yes. Yes.
So
Must
the shit out of it. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
my son, good example, young guy, started his own company, Live, Laugh, and Enjoy. It is a puppetry company where he travels and does puppetry different places. He has a vision board. He's starting to, we were just having a conversation before the show of how much he is cutting people loose who can't connect with his vision. You either
I love that.
a lesson or a blessing. So
right.
he's already doing that at a young age.
Good for him.
So at this point where he's already doing that, is there any level of advice you would give him besides like keep going the way you're doing?
Yeah, I'm like, keep doing that. That's awesome.
Yeah, right.
No, I think as he continues down this journey, right, those opportunities. So if he has that clear vision and he truly believes in it, if he's in action, it's going to happen.
Definitely.
Right? If he is in action, that's the thing is if you are in action, great. Because we all, you know, this is something else that I heard from Tony Robbins when I was listening to that. He says, you know, what was it that he said? I'll have to come back to it, but it's along those lines of, you know, if we don't have that clarity, if we don't have that action, then nothing changes. Because we all have knowledge, and knowledge is power, right? But it's really not power unless you're in action. You can know something, right? There's so many times I've gone somewhere, maybe it's to like a seminar, and somebody said, this is what you need to be doing. And I know I need to be doing it.
Right.
And I still don't do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Like nothing changes unless you're in action. So I think for him, whatever he wants, he needs to know what the actions behind, right? What are those daily actions? What are those weekly actions? Because those actions, those habits that he creates is what is going to help him create that big vision for his life.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I think that makes me think of too, sometimes people, and this is no knock to people who haven't figured out what they want to do yet, because sometimes we just are trying to still figure it out.
Yeah.
But for those people who actually make no plan of action and their day is just whatever happens,
Yeah.
it's like no wonder you keep missing the goal, because you just like, well, tomorrow I'm gonna go over here, and then Tuesday I'm going over here, and then I might dibble back into this. I paint, I ride, I go horseback riding. Well, what are you actually good at? Well, I do them all, but
Right. Yeah.
what's that saying? A jack of all trades, but a master of nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so you have to have your vision, your goals, and that's pretty much, you need to have it all figured out. I like how you put that, because that is very, very true.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Like if you don't know the destination, how are you going to get there?
Yeah.
Right. You don't get in the car and just drive around like I hope I get there. Where am I going? Like you don't have if you don't have an idea, you're going nowhere. And so that for me, like I think the clarity on my vision, where I'm that person where I have my 10-year vision, I have a 5-year vision, I have a 1-year vision, I have like a vision board, right? Like I have everything to keep me, constantly remind me of like, this is what you want and these are your goals. Like you're not in action, nothing changes. You can write this beautiful vision down and you can have this beautiful vision board, but if you don't do anything, nothing's going to be different.
Right, right. So Cori, let me ask you this. The obstacles that they always come.
Yes.
Like, okay, so let's just use an example. I know a guy who has a job who he hates the job.
Yeah.
And he says that quite a bit.
Yeah.
But he's starting to say, this job is a lesson. This job is pushing me toward my vision because I'm totally not comfortable here.
Yeah.
You find that obstacles serve that dual purpose. If they can't discourage you, they can actually push you towards your goal.
Yeah, because I think obstacles are going to happen no matter what. Like we don't have any control. Like, I mean, my example is in February of 2021, I quit my full-time job. I was like, great, I'm going to be a full-time life coach. And then a month later, I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh,
so wow. That wasn't planned.
Right.
That wasn't like that was a huge obstacle. But I look back and I think, okay, well, I had an opportunity to learn and grow and become a better person. And I learned a lot. And now I can use those tools and resources to help other women, right? Like I go back to that gratitude part of what can I learn from this? How can I be grateful for it? Because no matter what, there's going to be obstacles in anything. And it's just really having that commitment and getting back on track.
That's the word, commitment.
Yes.
Yeah.
You pretty much answered Mom's question, but Aaron can.
Did you always know that you were going to be a coach for people, or did you start out doing something else? I
started my career in the retail world. So I ran stores for lots of high-level companies. So I guess I was always coaching because, right, as a manager, as a leader in a store, you're constantly coaching your team members, you're giving them feedback, you're supporting them. And so I think that doing that in that retail environment, it was fun. I got to meet new people. I got to support them. Like my employees knew, like, you're coming to work, you're getting life coached. Yeah. Right. Like, what are you grateful for today? But that, being able to learn in that managerial, that leadership world, how important coaching was in business, it made me really aware when I started my own personal development that I needed it in my personal life as well. Yeah. Right. I needed that. And so I became a coach because of my own transformation.
Right.
Just that passion for helping people.
Right.
So I get to be in service of others and help them change their lives. It's the best thing ever.
And among all of the other things that you have done, you have become an Amazon bestseller.
Yeah.
From a book that you wrote that you maybe can tell us a little bit about.
So I wrote Thrive and Flourish Self-Development Strategies for High-Achieving Women in Life and Business last year. It was released, I think, the end of June. So a month before my baby was born, I launched a book. And it is really self-development strategies. And I always tell people, like, this book is for everyone. Men read it, women read it. It's self-development. So I'm giving you the exact actions you need to take to help you transform your life. So if you want to have growth in your personal life, if you want to have growth in your professional life, what I offer in this book is the tools to help you get there, right? I always tell people, when you get this book, make sure you have a journal so you can do the work inside of it.
Okay.
I talk about gratitude. I talk about vision and goal work, and I tell you exactly how to do that to help you create your dream life. And so it's an easy read. It's a quick read. It will take you about an hour or two. And it's, I love it. I think that I'm grateful that it's helped so many already like start changing their lives, because it tells you what to do.
I love it. I love it.
Wow.
And that's important. I love, for one, let me be clear, I love easy reads.
Yeah.
Because it makes me feel like I can like read 10 books and then I feel very accomplished.
Good.
And but most of all, I love that you put your knowledge into books, which makes me think of a video that I watched the other day, that what your passion and your calling is will create other streams of income.
Yeah.
So look at that. What you've been doing all this time, and then you put it in a book to create money in other ways. That's awesome.
Thank you.
So
any plans for, oh wow. Okay. So any plans for a follow-up book, like, from
I want to. I'm not sure yet. I think I want it to be more along the lines of manifestation and like mindset, because of my own experiences with going through breast cancer and healing my body. And then, manifesting my little boy. So I think, talking more maybe around personal story around that, and then and showing what I did, because I know that, if you want something, you can absolutely manifest it. But if you don't have the faith and belief, it's not going to happen. And so teaching people, like, what does that mean, right? Having that faith and belief, that's what I would like to do in a follow-up book.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would be so awesome.
Yeah. That would be great.
Go ahead. People would love to hear your story, because it was so encouraging.
You think people want to hear my Chippendale story? I'm definitely going to do it, man.
Okay, well, see how the music came on that?
So, Cori, do you have a challenge for our people?
I challenge you to start a gratitude practice. So
I love
3 things in the morning. Every morning, you say 3 things out loud that you're grateful for, or text your friends. But start with gratitude.
Okay.
I'm going to actually do that.
Do it. I love it. Good.
I'm grateful for my shimmy that made me win.
Yeah.
You know what? Oh, Lord. Thank you for the shimmy shim. Because look, I got a great podcaster, because God called him out of the shim shim. Yeah, but you know what?
There was nothing else I could achieve in the male dancing tour. But anyway,
but
Cori, we could go on, because it goes. I wanted to actually get into, and I'm not gonna get into it, but the other side, once the manifestation happens, what does that do to a mindset? It has to elevate it. It has to make you go further. Well, this happened, so let's do this. So I didn't get a chance to do that, but I just wanted.
We can talk about it later.
Yeah.
But we want everybody to have the most amazing week. And Ms. Sartori, we are so glad, Mrs. Sartori, we are so glad to have you on again. And awesome. All the wonderful things that are happening to you, you manifest them, but I'm glad they are happening for you. I'm glad to see people that are moving up and excited, and thank you for sharing your hour with us from your baby, your new baby.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
So if everybody go and follow Cori, go and buy her book on Amazon, and take the gratitude practice, do the gratitude practice challenge this week. And Carmelita was saying something, but it came up blank. But we hear you, sis. We hear you. So everybody have an awesome week.
And one more thing. Shimmy until it manifests.
Yes, I love it.
It's never too late to learn, Crystal. That's right. Put your dreams to work. Good show. Thank you, Crystal. Everybody have a good one. See you later.